Hello everyone, and welcome to my CBS Bold and Beautiful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. This is a recap of Eric's injury, poor publicity, and Katie and Hope's guilt. Eric Forrester sustains injuries in today's episode. Hope Logan Spencer and Katie Logan Spencer, meantime, are conflicted. Eric is offered water by Ridge Forrester. Eric declines Zend Forrester Dominguez's request for champagne. Steffi Forrester Finnegan assures us that everything will work out. Eric fears that no one will give a damn. Everyone makes an effort to lift Eric's spirits. He is greatly admired by them. They are relieved to receive an order. They then see that FC is being positively discussed online. RJ Forrester desires to visit Bikini. Steffi needs to finish some work, and Zend has other intentions. Steffi calls to voice her displeasure with the reporter after everyone has left. Zend observes that a blog is focusing on Eric's outburst. Everyone, including Ridge, is unsure of how to deal with the media. Bill Spencer is ecstatic at Logan. Heather Tom's character, Katie Logan Spencer, wishes Eric hadn't trashed them on film. Will says Eric ought to feel embarrassed. Nobody talks about his mother in such manner. Katie is still horrified. After winning, they're headed to Bikini. Katie wants to spend time by herself with Bill. Will Spencer have a drink with Harrison Cohn's character, Deke Sharp? Bill chuckles at the blogs that support the meltdown theory. Hope and Katie don't like this at all. They made it personal, according to Bill. No one disparages Bill's spouse. Deacon Sharp and Taylor Hayes discuss Eric's interview at Bikini. Eric is more shaken than Taylor has ever seen him. Sydney Bullock's character Melissa Dillon stops by the table to inquire about the webcast. According to Taylor, the designs were stunning. According to Deacon, Eric's breakdown was the showstopper. Will and Deke arrive. Deacon is pleased with his son. Will has some beers at the bar. The young man yells at Dillon. Electra and Will look at each other as Electra Forrester enters the room with Eric and RJ. Deke notices Will staring at Electra. Will walks up to Electra and asks to speak. When RJ and Eric notice it, they act. RJ approaches and orders Electra to accompany Eric. She may remain where she is, Will says. Electra is not interested in making a scene. RJ and Will exchange insults. They push one another. Will makes an effort to overcome RJ. Eric intervenes to defuse the altercation. RJ is upset when Will refers to Eric as an elderly guy. RJ persists in pressuring Will until he eventually receives a response. Eric is injured when Will punches him and RJ purposefully ducks. Will loses control, Electra goes too far, and Eric gets hurt. Following the fallout from the fashion event, tensions in the Bold and the Beautiful escalate as Will Spencer and RJ Forrester get into yet another heated altercation. The long-simmering animosity between Logan and Forresters erupts, and what begins as a furious dispute swiftly devolves into violence. Eric Forrester intervenes as the conflict intensifies in an effort to break up Will and RJ's altercation before anyone is gravely injured. Instead, when Eric is caught in the center of the pandemonium, he unintentionally becomes a victim. According to spoilers, Electra Forrester shows there in time to see the confrontation's aftermath. Electra is worried about Will's recent conduct and worries whether she is in danger from his rage after witnessing him lose his temper once more. Electra won't accept Will's insistence that everything was an accident. The Forrester family's growing skepticism about whether he's really the proper man for her is reinforced by the most recent altercation. They urge Electra to break up with Will. Bill Spencer, meanwhile, is still enjoying the unanticipated notoriety that Eric's moving interview brought him. Instead of showcasing Forrester creations and the couture line, it has intensified the animosity between the Logans and the Forresters. Fans of B&B will notice that tensions are high on both sides. The battle between the Spencers Forresters is far from over, and as the week goes on, new alliances and conflicts may arise. Peace between the Spencers and Forresters will be difficult after the most recent altercation. Will can find that one rash decision could end up costing him much more than he anticipated. It appears that Will's most recent altercation may result in his incarceration. Following Eric's breakdown, Forrester Creations is facing a PR catastrophe. According to teasers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Bill Spencer is about to put Forrester Creations in the midst of a major PR disaster. Will the real target turn out to be Steffy Forrester? How is this PR disaster going? When it comes to making Ridge Forrester a target, Bill has no trouble. Ridge and Bill haven't gotten along for years, let's face it. Bill is not interested in manipulating the media to ensure that Logan emerges from this design victorious. When he pushed Ridge till he punched him, Bill was ecstatic. The media is now focusing on Steffy. Naturally, everyone is aware of Steffy's marriage to John Finnegan and the difficulties they have had with his mother. After dragging Hope Logan Spencer along for months, Bill may be utilizing this problem to target Steffy. Bill's former daughter-in-law is named Steffy. To what far will Bill pursue this attack? Recently, Ridge and Eric Forrester talked about preparing a press release regarding the betrayal of Brooke Logan Forrester by her family. A competing fashion house was first established by Katie Logan Spencer. Hope now works for Logan after leaving Forrester Creations. Although Brooke is overreacting, she perceives everything as a deliberate assault on her. Ridge is happy to present it that way in order to hide the reality that his own father was forced to leave Forrester and work for Logan when Ridge persuaded him to return. Eric's refusal to accept responsibility for his role in this fashion rival nightmare has made the situation far more complicated than it needed to be. It is possible to doubt Steffy's leadership. Eric departed and joined Logan, after all. Hope has since moved on from Forrester in search of better opportunities. Thomas Forrester, who works remotely, took Deke Sharp's post at Forrester. Bill might turn things around and blame Steffy for everything. The interviewer may bring up Steffy's excessive use of emotion in the workplace. After all, Steffy and Hope had been at odds for years, and this is what transpired. Given all that is currently happening at Forrester, could Logan truly prevail in this fashion war? Will there soon be more Forrester staff leaving? In a breathtaking comeback to Forrester, Ivy blows Dylan's secret wide open. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful suggest that Propa Ivy Forrester is still alive. After engaging in some insane lying, she was dismissed from FC, but we anticipate her making a comeback. Why wouldn't they want Ivy back to manage the jewelry line and prevent her niece Electra Forrester from losing it over Will Spencer, given the devastation of FC? First of all, have you noticed how frequently Ivy has been brought up recently? The show seems to be laying the groundwork for the Australians' comeback. The character should return for two key reasons, Electra and Electra. Because of her infatuation with Will, Electra is causing problems for the family. Will is a solid, 100% Spencer man, yet they dislike all Spencers. The Forresters believe that Will eventually harm Electra because he has been acting violently lately. Ivy appears to be a genius now that she was expelled for attempting to keep Electra and Will apart. Will is going to face additional difficulties, and he may ultimately turn to Melissa Dillon for support. It would be a bonus if Ivy returned with information about Dillon. It would not only reflect poorly on Dillon but also, indirectly, on Will. Electra received a promotion from Ridge Forrester, Torsten K., following Ivy's departure. But if you ask Will, she can't even manufacture a basic necklace chain that doesn't break since she's green. It makes natural that Ivy would be brought back to better compete with the upstart, as Logan is breathing fire down FC's back. Spoilers for Spicy the Bold and the Beautiful indicate that if Ivy returns, it will be to stir things up. Ivy left under a cloud of bad reputation, therefore it makes logical that she would seek to damage Dylan's reputation in order to clear her own. Fans, let us know if you're excited for Ivy to return. Sheila was never asked to prove herself by Finn. Finn worked in silence at his hospital office on Monday's episode. The instant Sheila walked into the room, he sighed. She was curious if he had succeeded in persuading Steffy that she had changed and was worthy of a position in their lives. Sheila remained in that position the entire time they were speaking. She was adamant that she should be compensated for all the sacrifices she had made over the years. Sheila wanted to be welcomed into Finn and Steffy's family this time. However, Finn never engaged in an argument with her. He never questioned Sheila's transformation. Finn never encouraged Sheila to persevere or demonstrate her abilities. Rather, he approached this conversation as if the choice had already been decided. Finn reiterated that his wife no longer wants him to visit her. No matter how much she had improved, she was still not accepted in their life. Finn gave Sheila no hope that things would turn out this time. Sheila contended that Steffi is not required to participate in this. They might still live together as a family. Spending time with her son was all she wanted. Finn, however, would not consider this. He used to leave a door open for his mother to come back. Instead, Finn urged Sheila to go and never speak to him again. Sheila was made aware by Finn that she was not welcome in his life. Finn was not going to change his mind about the decision that had already been taken. Rejecting Sheila isn't Finn's biggest change. It's giving up on the idea that she could somehow earn her way back into his life. This thought wears Finn out. He's finally come to terms with the fact that Hope had him caught in a never-ending cycle for years. Finn's relationship with his biological mother was characterized for years by ambiguous boundaries and conditional acceptance. He measured her good behavior and assessed her actions on a regular basis. Every time Finn did this, he clung to the risky notion that everything might be turned around if Sheila demonstrated that she had changed. However, Steffi would never accept her, thus that was untrue. Finn speaks louder than any showdown could ever hope to by eliminating the possibility of negotiation. No argument is made, and no emotional energy is squandered in an attempt to make her a better person. Sheila no longer has any influence over Finn's thoughts or life, as seen by the lack of conversation. Finn dispels the notion that she has a right to participate in his life and destiny by ending the conversation. He broke free from the loop of calling for change and just turned to leave. Finn broke the emotional bond that bound them both to the same tumultuous dance. Will punches Eric when a fight breaks out at Bikini. Eric is agitated, so Ridge offers him some water. Eric isn't in the mood to toast his new line with champagne, despite Zen's suggestion. He worries that only Logan will be interested in their artistic abilities, even if Steffi reassures him that the numbers will be good. Steffi and his son attempt to lift his spirits. They respect him for continuing to fight so hard. To put a stop to the conflict with Logan, they must use that. They applaud when Lauren calls for an order. They see that there is good conversation about the collection on the internet. RJ proposes that they visit Bikini. Steffi has things to accomplish, and Zen has his own ideas. Steffi calls to voice her disapproval of the reporter after people had left. Zend observes that the Eric meltdown angle is already being used on a Spencer-sponsored site. Ridge and the others discuss how to deal with the media. The way the press has acted has thrilled Bill. After Eric trashed them on the webcast, Katie and Hope are still upset. Katie wishes this situation hadn't arisen. Will believes that Eric ought to feel guilty for disparaging her. That's not how anyone talks about his mother. They all feel horrible about Eric losing his temper, with the exception of Bill. Bill believes that they have won today. His wife is still horrified by what Eric said. That person lacks class, according to Will. They make the decision to go to Bikini after winning. Will and Deke go out to drink, but Katie prefers to spend the night by herself with her husband. Bill promises Hope that by taking full advantage of Eric's meltdown, they will squash the dressmaker and the other Forresters. Reading the most recent blog post regarding the Forrester-Logan conflict makes him laugh. Bill claims that Brooke and the others made this personal, even though the ladies don't like it. He refuses to allow anyone to disparage his Katie. Deacon and Taylor talk about how the reporter weirdly triggered Eric. She had never witnessed him so distressed. Dylan drops by to inquire about the webcast. Deacon adds that Eric's outburst was the showstopper, while Taylor feels the designs were gorgeous. When Will and Deke get there, Deacon informs his son that he will never forget how Eric pulled him over the coals today. He is pleased with his son. After getting the drinks at the bar, Will informs Dylan that nobody can discuss his mother the way Eric has. Electra enters the room with RJ and Eric. She sees Will, and they exchange glances. Will is asked by Taylor if the woman who conducted Eric's interview was employed by Forrester. He's not sure. Deke notices that he is fixated with Elektra. He says he's proud of her as he follows her up to the bar. He wants to talk to her because he misses her. When RJ and Eric notice this, they decide to stop it. She is told to go back to Eric by RJ, who stomps over. She can remain with the man who loves her, according to Will. She approaches Eric after asking them not to cause a commotion. Will and RJ are still disparaging one another and accuse one another of lacking class. When Will threatens him, RJ tells him he won't back down this time. As Will tries to get past him, they begin to push each other. Eric goes to intervene and tells Will to return to his father. Will won't accept instructions from the old man. RJ becomes more irate as a result. They push each other until Will retreats and unintentionally clocks Eric, knocking him to the ground with his fist.